welcome to another episode of Warriors Talk with your host, Lady Rochelle. Tonight's conversation might make you a little uncomfortable, and that's okay because some people aren't staying in relationships because of love. They're staying because being lonely feels scarier than being unhappy. So, tonight we're asking the question many people avoid. Are you in love or just afraid to be alone? Go ahead and grab your waters, your tea, and your journals and join in on this valuable conversation. We're so grateful for our sponsor on today. We have Pastor Michael Richardson with the Emmanuel Church of God in Christ, who has a special message for us.
Greetings, I am Pastor Michael Richardson.
And I am First Lady Anastasia Richardson from the Emmanuel Church of God in Christ. We're located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, Illinois. We are building upon a solid foundation.
And we're inviting you to join us every Sunday morning on Facebook Live at Emmanuel Kojic at 10:15 Central Standard Time. And you can also view our videos on our YouTube channel at Emmanuel Kojic-MR. Once again, this is Pastor Michael Richardson
and First Lady Anastasia Richardson. And we are from the Emmanuel Church of God in Christ. We are building upon a solid foundation.
Co-hosting with me today is none other than the cancer activist, motivational speaker, and the founder of the Gal Foundation, Rizal Gilmore, aka The Biz. Hey, Rizal.
Lady Rochelle, what's up? What's up? What's up?
Excited about the topic on today.
I'm excited about every Monday Warriors Talk.
Yes. We're asking the people, are you in love or just afraid to be alone? I feel like that's a heavy question. And I was trying to think back to time, Rizal, when I was in a relationship to where I felt like I knew I wasn't in love, but I was just there because I didn't want to be by myself. And I swear I couldn't think of a relationship like that. Normally, if I feel like I'm not in love, I would rather be by myself than to just waste my time or somebody else's time. That's just me. And I think maybe the younger you are, you feel that way, versus as you get a little older, you may tolerate people and they BS more than you would when you're younger.
Well, yeah, we're about to bring some hard truths to a lot of people tonight. Reality is really going to kick in like, you know what? They are really making some sense. And I think tonight is the night to kick 2026 off bright and fresh. But yeah, let's dive into this because I can't. I think it's a little bit different for a man. It really is. I can't really. I've been in love. I've tolerated a lot. I dealt with a lot. Been through a lot. But yeah. This is going to be interesting.
So my first question would be like, what does it usually feels like when you're in love? When you're in love with somebody, what type of feelings are that's going through your mind, your body, that makes you say, "Oh, I love this person"?
I've always said if I feel as though that I would give my heart to you because you needed it in order for you to live, then I'm in love with you. And that has probably happened one, two, probably happened twice. Yeah. I would have gave my life for somebody else. That's definitely some love.
Oh wow. Well, mine's is all about consistency, that person being consistent with their actions, with their words, everything up. There's no questions, no confusion, and it just seems the relationship seems to go pretty smooth, almost like it's too good to be true. But you know that that person, and you can feel that they're not playing games. You know, they don't leave you guessing. A lot of times when you with people who are not really ready for a relationship, or they're playing games, you know, they're gonna leave things up in the air. They're gonna always want to go with the flow. They're gonna not want to use titles, and they're not want to use we in a relationship. When it comes to like the future plans, it's always about what they're gonna do, and they're not including you. So I'm all about consistency, you being a man of your word, and your actions is lining up with that. I'm not sitting there guessing, and you being honest about your feelings, upfront about your feelings, and not afraid to say what those feelings are.
Hmm. I mean, yes, actions do speak louder than words, but you could tell me a whole, you could sell me the Atlantic Ocean and still turn around and do some BS. So I think it's the length of time of where, as time go on, is where I trust you more, where I put more into you. I think people who are just starting out, I don't think that is love yet. I think it's more of infatuation, and they like how the intimacy part is being done and all of that. And it's like, ooh, I'm kind of like having my cake eating it too. But you go ahead and get into one wrong argument with that person, and let's see if it stands the test of time.
So you don't believe in love at first sight?
I do. And I say that because my very first girlfriend, I said that was love at first sight. But then again, I was like 12, and we carried the relationship on until we was like 15. And she did get pregnant by another guy. So yeah, that just stunned and tainted me like forever. Crazy part is we're still friends to this day. Her kids, my kids, the whole family. She knew Tasha back then. Like it was cool. I don't have like exes that I'm enemies with or anything. And I had this conversation the other day. So a lot of my exes, they're like friends, and it's hard to believe, but there wasn't anything, to forgive and let go. It happened, and we remain friends, and I appreciate that.
I would say a lot of us are cordial, but I wouldn't say we're friends. We're cordial. If I see them, I will speak, and um, wouldn't want anything bad to happen to them. But other than that, you mentioned something about getting into an argument. Uh, I think people have to learn how to fight fair when you're fighting, because a lot of times when you're fighting, we tend to say things that we really don't mean, because we know how to hurt the other person, or get to them. So a lot of times you need to figure out how to fight fair with your partner, so that you won't have any regrets or say something that you don't mean, that you would have to go back and apologize for. So I think pick your battles. I always say pick your battles. Everything is not worth fighting about, arguing about. Some things you just can be like, okay.
Hmm. I think due to the level of dischargement of statements that will be thrown at a person will depend on how deep you go to cut that person and what level of what they did to you. So, in other words, they did something really bad. You're going to go into your deep down bag of tricks because you know this person's deep down secrets and vulnerability points because they unspilt and told you everything. So, you're going to use that against them.
You might. That's why I say
Mm,
fight fair.
mm.
When you're fighting fair,
Yeah.
then you fight based on facts of what really happened, and you won't need to, put anybody deep with something like that if you're fighting with the facts. I think a lot of times we don't do that.
Who's fighting fair these days? Nobody's fighting fair. They just had the whole mentality of, I'm going to shut you down and I'm going to move on. Like this is done over. So I don't care about your feelings. I don't care what you got going on. I said what I said and now I'm out.
I think if you really love that person, then you fight fair and you watch what you say. You it's a difference. I think it may have to do with maturity and how you feel about that person. Because when you love them, you don't want to hurt them. You don't want them hurt. So certain things you won't say, even though you feel like you should say it. You won't.
When you're in the heat of an argument, stop to think about what you're saying is not at the top of the list. It is fire, fire, and more fire.
Mm, again, when you love someone, I think it's kind of different. Even if you could be so mad at them, but you love them. I'm the type of person that I don't hold grudges. So if we're having an argument or disagreement, I'm gonna tell you how I feel, and then I'm gonna let it go. I'm not gonna sit and hold it, and I'll be the first to apologize. I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Did I say that wrong? If you took it that way, that's not the way that I meant it. You know, yeah, like life. I don't want that heaviness on me, first of all. And I try to treat people how I want them to treat me. And you teach people how to treat you by what you do, what you accept, what you don't accept, and what you allow. So if you want somebody to treat you a certain way, then you have to do the same thing. And if they're not doing it, then you have to be like, hey, hold up. This is how I want you to handle me.
Hearing it, thinking it, but actually acting it, totally different. It sounds
If
good coming out your mouth, and I would agree with you totally on everything what you say. But
if
when
love
that
it,
happens, now what? Now, perfect example. What's today? Monday? On Tuesday, there is a show that's called Coordinate Act, hosted by Tammy,
I say
right? Tammy has the conversation with the individual beforehand. What questions you're going to ask? You're not going to go in there acting all Negroidian. You're not going to do this. And they shake their head. They say yes, and they agree. They get out the van and they go confront the person on why they did what they did, and everything what they just talked about, what Tammy and that person just talked, is totally out the window, and you don't see nothing come. They're throwing stuff, they're having a whole tantrum fit. They agree until they get into the heat of that moment. The gloves come off. They do not care.
think about the situation they're going through though. They already know this person is doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. That's why they had Tammy watching them in the first place. So they already got this pent up anger already, resentment already. And then you gonna tell me in the van, okay, don't do nothing. We know we saw them on a date. We know he spent the night at her house last night, and and now you want me to not do anything or say anything. That's not realistic. That's not realistic. That's trauma, toxic. That's some toxic stuff. If you love someone, you're gonna proceed cautiously because you don't want to say or do anything to hurt that person or to hurt y'all chances of still being together. I'm just saying. This is just something I've learned over the years. Like I believe
So
something. Go ahead.
So, to love or not to love? That is the question.
The question is, are you in love, or are you just there because you lonely, or you don't want to be alone? And sometimes you could be in a relationship and still you could still be alone sometimes when you're with somebody, or you could feel like you're alone because of the way the relationship is going. And so you just hang in there because you're like, oh, I have somebody. I'm not by myself. Even though I feel alone or all of these toxic things are going on, you don't have peace. You anxious all the time. You don't feel safe. You always in survival mode. You're not growing. You constantly compromising with this person. It's always you doing the compromising.
Well, well, that would describe if you're in love or not, but you have a choice. Everybody has a choice. You have a choice to leave, you have a choice to stay. You have a choice to put up with it and deal with it, or you have a choice not to. You have a choice.
So let's do a
Fear check.
spiritual.
What?
So why do you think people stay in relationships when they may feel alone, or they don't want to leave because they don't want to be by themselves?
One of the reasons because they have too much invested in the person. Then did X, Y, and Z. They ain't been with them. You hear them all the time. I ain't been with her or him for 15 years. They ain't going nowhere. They got too much invested into the person.
That could be my number five. You comfort and familiarity. You know this
Yep.
person. You with this
Because
person.
nobody wants to start over.
It's
You
not.
rather deal. Who sung the song? They rather deal with your BS than to. Somebody sung that song too. That they rather deal with all their BS than to start over.
So you're just gonna keep dealing with the BS over and over again.
Yep.
I'd rather have my
Yep.
peace. I'd rather have my peace than do that.
Well, what is Rizzy's number one rule? What did I tell you? We got about three of them. We just need to get a board and just have them in the background and just pin them up because I swear I feel like I say this almost every other show. People are not looking for love, they are looking for help. This is why they say they don't fear being alone. They fear that they ain't going to get their bills paid and they butts going to be out on the street. They need help paying the rent, paying the mortgage, and so forth and so forth. Love, they don't care. First thing they're going to say, these bills. Oh, I need to give it up just to get this, get my phone back on. Okay, whatever. There ain't no feelings there. Ain't no love. That's a
I don't.
business exchange now at this point.
I don't.
That's all it is. It's a business exchange.
I don't know what kind of people you running across, but y'all. Uh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I've never had that mentality to where I had to. I don't want to say depend on a man to pay my bills. Like I've always been able to pay my own bills and not have to go month to month asking someone to pay something. Even if we're in a relationship, I'm not. I don't get in a relationship and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, he's gonna pay this bill, he's gonna pay that bill, he's gonna pay that bill. I was paying my bills before I got with you, and guess what? I'm gonna keep paying these bills. So if you decide that you don't want to be in this relationship, then guess what? My bills are still gonna get paid, and I don't have to be out here prostituting myself for your little $40 to pay for my bill. No, and then I gotta put up with you because you feel like you gave me the $40, and now you want to, have control over my life for this $40. No, absolutely not. It's no, it's not. It's not that serious. I think.
Welcome to the real world.
I don't
Welcome
know.
to 2026.
I feel like women are much. We're much more independent than that right about now. We will hustle. We will work 2 and 3 jobs to make sure ends meet. The we
Rochelle.
we don't need them little coins.
Hustling is not in the bloodline of a lot of these chicks, these women, these young ladies anymore. Their
Young,
mentality, they
they
rather
got
be at the club, watch the guy who's buying the bottles and be part of that movement than rather, as you say, go out and get your own money, have your own section, and show. No, mm-mm, mm-mm.
where these are
You
young.
really have to go out and observe and see what's going on out here. And you trust and believe everything that I say, you will be like, wow, Rizal is right.
I'm thinking about my nieces because are around that age, that 25, 30 age. These women out here working. They working. They not. They got their own apartments. They working. They're not sitting around waiting on someone to take care of them. They when they go out, they not doing that. That's why I'm saying I don't know what women and where these women are. It's got to be some type of Florida thing because not here, baby, not here.
No, I ain't just Florida. This was happening in New Jersey. This was happening all over.
And then I think about how sometimes you present yourself to these women. If you present yourself to them like, oh, you balling, you got all this money, you doing all this, and and then they're gonna look at you in that way, like, oh, okay, that's what you want to do, okay. So yeah, sometimes you're asking women for stuff and to do stuff, and they like, a lot of times when we want to get rid of you, we'll ask you for money.
You don't even believe that yourself. That's why you
Okay,
sitting there
okay.
like,
No, no, because I'm laughing in my head that I could remember me doing this to a person. It's a lot of times that we want to get rid of you, we'll ask you for money. We'll ask for stuff in hopes that you be like, okay, that's all she wants. Every time I see her, she got her hand out. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know how this relationship gonna go. Okay, you call me. You want to see me? Okay, where we going? Oh God, my nails. I gotta get my nails done. My hair ain't done. You gonna cash at me? And they like, well, why I gotta cash at you to take you out? Like, I really don't want to go, but if you want me to go,
so
this is what. That's probably
what
what
happens when what happens when he calls your bluff and he sends you the money to get that stuff done? Now you gotta go.
I could show up and get through it and still go home by myself. It's like
See,
it's a waste. That's why I said I would rather women are we do these things ourselves because it's always some type of consequence at the end of it. Like I don't need you to do those things in hopes that oh this night is going to turn into a nightcap. No, it's not.
but obviously that is the end goal in the man's mind, in his head, for
It
that to
should
happen.
it shouldn't be though. It shouldn't
No,
be.
it is.
When you're dating, you're in a relationship. You're dating. That should always be the end. You should be you should be if that's what you're expecting at dates, then you should spend as much as she wants you to spend. And yeah,
So let me say that it is not just only the women's fault. So I'm not just putting it on just the women. I do say that a lot of the men take some of this blame because they have messed the game up also so much with the money, acting like they balling and then they really don't have it, and you mislead. So they also have messed the game up. But no matter how you look at it, the game is messed up because now it's almost like that's what's expected.
I think it's on. it's on an individual basis though. Like
Mm.
it depends on how you approach somebody too.
Do I if you catch them at the first of the month or the end of the month? It all depends. When stuff is due, yeah, they gonna be calling you, Daddy.
You know, and I'm not gonna say there are not women out here that don't be looking for help because I think a lot of women, not a lot, but some women have gotten burned or messed up by some men who have taken advantage of them. So now they're like, no, I'm not gonna let this happen. So if you want to play, then you're gonna have to pay. But I feel like that's so old.
I agree. I agree with you. But also, and I kind of had this conversation earlier, that women have options. I feel as though that no woman is alone, because whether you're in a relationship or you're not, there is somebody there. There is somebody that you can take a chance with. There's somebody who is lurking. There's somebody who have you on layaway and that's checking in with you maybe about once a month to see how you doing. There's some, whether y'all going out to get a bite to eat or that's the partner that you're sleeping with, even though you're in a relationship, you have options. There is somebody there. So you are never alone. Now, whether you give that person a chance, that's on you, because that's what it really comes down to. Like, okay, let's see what Mr. Record is like, or what he's up to, or Mr. Glass. He been hitting me up. He's been in my inbox. He been sliding through, and I kind of like his conversation. He make me laugh and whatever. I talk to him. He's kind of consistent, and that's how that's how it happens.
Sometimes you need to let them stay in the box because they in there for a reason. Like just just mm. Okay. Hey Kimmy. Kimmy says hello to the both of you. I just want to jump in and say I love the show. ReShell and Rizal, aka my sexy crush. Keep up the great work, team. Oh, there you go, Rizal. Come on now. There goes somebody right there. There goes somebody right there. Thank you, Kimmy. We appreciate that.
We do appreciate. I appreciate you, Kimmy.
Aw. So, are you in love or just afraid to be alone? Did we get all of the? Oh no. One was the financial. Well, you talked about that already. The financial dependence. People asking for money. What about the fear of judgment? Like with social media and everything that's going on, I feel like sometimes people get an unrealistic expectation of really what people's relationship looks like, and they want theirs to look like that. So they figure like, I don't want to be alone. People are traveling and then doing all these things together. So you just stick it out with your boo,
Yeah,
knowing
I
that
get
they're
it.
already
I mean,
together.
I get it. It looks good. You know, people out there having fun and everything, but just be patient. Your time will come. Your time will come for you to do those things, whether it's with that person or not. You got to find somebody who you are really, really compatible with. That whatever come out your mouth, you know, God willing, they are going to tolerate you, and vice versa. I mean, those right there make like some of the best relationship when you can just be who you are.
Mhm. Let's talk about some signs that you might be afraid to be alone. Number one, you feel so anxious when they don't respond.
Is that really anxiety? Or is that just a whole nother sign? They don't respond and mm, I don't know about that one. That don't sound like them being anxious.
You know, you don't want to be by yourself. If you're texting them and you want to spend some time with them, they may have other stuff going on. You don't even have a life. You just depending on them. Want to be all up in their circle, and they hanging with their buddies, and they don't respond to you, and you panicking.
Right. This is why you got to find either you got something going on, let them have what they got going on, or y'all both have the attraction for the same thing where y'all can do it together. So it doesn't matter if you're there or not because y'all both love the same thing.
We could love the same thing, but I still want you to have your own thing going. I want you to be able to have your time, and I have my time, and we not be under each other 100% of the time.
Right. And then we come back and then we'll have time together.
Yeah, like, let me miss you. You minimize your needs to keep the peace. Ooh, we been there, done that.
Yeah. I'm guilty of that too. I have done that also.
I can remember walking on eggshells, not even want to bring up certain conversations because I didn't want to ruffle the feathers. Like, just, you know.
Yeah, because certain days you just don't feel like getting into it. You don't feel like the yelling or trying to prove your point or going through the motions with that person. You just don't feel like it. So yes, I have done that before.
You ignore all kind of red flags because you want to
Mm.
be around.
I don't think I ignore them. I think I put them in my back pocket until I begin to start to put them all together. When I put them all together, like I said, once I start building my case on y plus x equal x and y and these there that I have a whole trail and a chart and I see, then I have substantial evidence to say that you are dismissed. Poof, be gone.
Why are you building a case?
Because some people just ain't going to understand and get it. And I'm going to express my feelings on why I'm making this move because everything else is going to be a whole argument and that'll give them the closure that they need. And me too. This is why I did, or this is why I said, because the X, Y, and Z you see is written on the wall. Boom. Nothing else they can say.
Mm. Well, signs you may be afraid to be alone. Number 4, you change who you are to keep them. You look in the mirror and you don't even know who you are because you're doing all kind of things just to keep this person in your life.
I've said this again on the show. I keep telling we got to do a whole thing like at the bottom. We got to do a tab. If I have to change who I am for you, I am not the person for you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
shouldn't have. You should not have to change. I mean, if you're changing for the better, if it's like some messed up stuff that you're improving yourself, we're improving together, then yeah. But
Well, if they have introduced me to something that's going to have me to change because I like the way that they do it or they like the way that I do it, then I can understand the change because now there's something different because you were never exposed to that way, this new way of thinking or seeing things so differently. So I can understand the change, but that's going to come automatically. You're not just going to have me like, okay, you're going to change and blah, blah, blah. No, you have to open up my mind to make me want to change or do something different, not just tell me or instruct me or even give me a deadline or whatever the case. No, you asking for World War VI. Mm-mm.
Number 5, you feel relieved when you imagine them gone, but scared to leave. You're like, ooh, they're leaving, but then you be afraid. So what you stay.
That's almost sound like borderline domestic violence type stuff right there. Like you're relieved to have them going and afraid that they stay. Like, nah, why are you there? Like that. Now that one really don't make no sense. Why are you there? Because you're not feeling them here, or anywhere else. Why are you there?
Mm, is being alone worse than being unhappy? I would rather be alone than to just be there unhappy.
It is just definitely, yeah. You just get so much peace when you're by yourself. You ain't got to worry about is anybody out there cheating on you, talking about you. Well, they gonna talk regardless you in a relationship or not, but you ain't got to worry about none of that stuff. You get to
Is,
love your freedom.
is loneliness worse than emotional neglect? No, I would rather be lonely than for somebody to be neglecting me emotionally.
Yeah, I don't think at our age I could deal with the stress anymore. I already don't have no hair. What you trying to go for the gusto? You want me to pull my damn brain cells? No, I can't. Just thinking about it. Look. Oof.
Can can being alone actually be healing? I think so.
It could. Being alone could be, yeah, it could be a healing point. Again, you are definitely reflecting on what happened, and so it doesn't happen again. And you become at peace with, that separation. Is like, okay, this is what I'm gonna go for now, or what I'm gonna look for at the time when you feel as though you're ready.
Why do you feel, or what do you know about people rushing into relationships without healing first?
That they're gonna bring that same mess from the previous relationship with them, and they're gonna ruin a possible good thing.
I feel like they don't want to deal with whatever was going on. They don't want to deal with it. They just like, oh, just bury that and keep going. Just keep piling it on, and eventually it's gonna catch up with you and explode.
Eventually they have to realize that's just who they are. They keep thinking that they're the prize, but that's just who they are. It's just your nature. It's who you are.
I always say you're the common denominator. In every relationship, you're the common denominator. So if you're complaining about something, you're in that relationship too. So just think about what it is that you're doing, what part you're playing to make those things happen. So I want to do a quick poll. And the poll is asking questions about, well, the question is, are you in a relationship because of love or fear? And so, depending on why you're in the relationship, either it's going to be a heart because you're in for love, or fear, you're going to give the little face. If you're not sure you give the little face with the person. Like, "Hmm." If you're choosing your peace, you're going to choose the little lady or the little man that's just sitting there with their legs folded. So if you're listening or you're being kind to rewind, take the poll and put your comments in the comment space for me. Okay, finish the sentence. I stayed because
I had nowhere else to go.
A lot of times, if I stay, it's because I'm putting together my exit plan. Like there's a method to my madness instead of, with women, we emotionally, I'm already gone. The physical is probably going to be the last thing. So, yeah, I'm putting together a plan of how I'm going to exit.
Well, not every, let's just say, not all plans come together. It may sound good and you're trying to put it together in your head on paper and do what you can, but what if you can't get it together? And then now you're still stuck there with that person because you can't get out. You're not able to get out,
Oh, no, baby, I'm getting out. If I said I'm getting out,
but you can't. Say,
it's
for
has
instance, you live together. You know, nowadays you got to be making 3 times the rent.
been
You
there,
don't make 3 times the rent.
done that before.
What are you going to do?
I
Because
don't know.
now you can't get you an apartment. You can't move back to mama. So you got
Not
to stay there and deal with this person until something gives.
no, you don't. My mama house is always open. Mom, on my way. I just need a couple of months, and then yeah, no, no, absolutely not. That's a trap. No, I'm getting out of there. If 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 I've made up my mind that that's what I want to do, um, and I'm serious, and to get to that point means I've already considered and exhausted all the other options. So me leaving, me moving out, I'll leave you with that apartment. I'll wait. It's
Now
over
you
with.
can do that, but
I
then
ain't,
but now your name is
no,
on the lease, and
I'm
you
gonna
do
wait.
that. Now that's going to taint. That is definitely going to taint your name for your next place that you try, because that's one of the questions.
Keeping me
Did you
absolutely not.
rent before, and how
Absolutely
did you leave that? So it's going to be it's you're going to make the situation difficult.
no. I've been. Trust me, I've been there. I waited till that lease was up, and when that lease was up, and they say you need to come re-sign this lease. Guess who ain't re-signing the lease? Me.
Mm. But where you going?
But I went home to my mama until I was ready to get me
Mama don't want you back.
go stay in
She
a hotel
she trying to tell you, that y'all
in the
too old to be fussing and fighting and everything gonna be okay. You know that's their great word. Everything gonna be okay, baby.
absolutely. My mama know if I'm coming home, baby. Absolutely not. You can have this apartment. I'm out of here. I ain't playing. You no, no, absolutely not.
You wouldn't want to go to therapy.
At, like I said, by the time we get to that point, I have already exhausted every measure, therapy, all of that. We done exhausted everything to where I got to the point to where I'm actually moving out. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Let's just go our separate ways. Now, if you're married, and it may be a little different. You may have to work it a little different. But if we shacking, oh hell no, I'm out.
Mm. You know,
We
but now that becomes a whole thing because I'm quite sure over the time, y'all on bought furniture, y'all on bought food, and they want this and you
are
want that, and it becomes a whole it becomes a big argument.
I I'll walk away from all of it just to have my peace. You can have this stuff. I can get some more stuff. But what I can't get back is the time that I wasted over here and the peace that you done took away. So now I'm about to go and regain my peace. And guess what? That's priceless for me. Now, the show tonight is not about judging people's relationship, and it's not about telling you to leave your relationship, but it's telling you to take an honest look at where you are in your relationship and just think about it. Are you in love? Are you in love? Are you there for love? Are you there because you don't want to be alone? And you know what? As you get older, sometimes you may want to be there for the companionship, and that's okay. If that's what you choose to do, that is okay because that's your relationship with that person, and nobody can tell you, you know, they shouldn't be telling you how you should run your relationship. So if you want to be there because you don't want to be alone and y'all just there for companionship and y'all have this understanding, then you do that. That's just not what I'm doing.
Now that's a poll we should put on the Warriors Talk page and let it run for like a week or so, or I don't know, until our next show, and give the results of how many people are truly in love and how many people out there is getting that $40.
Mm, mm. Serious. That $40 be serious.
And where did
Okay.
they come up with that number anyway?
This guy told me that one time. The most he would give a woman $40 when she asked, without him feeling like, she trying to take advantage of her. He would never go over $40. So you be like, I need some money. He'd be like, okay, here you go. I'll give you $40. It's weird. Okay, you guys, stay single until you find the right person. And stop comparing your relationship to those who are on social media. Stop watching the clock because everybody's timing is different, it looks different. Stop ignoring the red flags. Don't jump into relationships too fast. And don't settle for the first person that comes along because you're desperate and you feel like you're lonely. Pause for a second before you commit and take time to evaluate your intentions on why you want to be in a relationship and ask yourself, why are you drawn to this person, or are you drawn to the idea of just not being alone? Take that time to invest in yourself and set some standards that don't compromise your actual core values just because you're lonely. And remember that your peace is not worth temporary comfort. Rizal, words of wisdom.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not gonna say that. uh, the right person at the right place at the right time can change everything. Just be patient.
All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk because awareness starts the conversation, but action changes the outcome. Join me next Monday right here on Intellectual Radio. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady Rochelle. Co hosting with me today is Rizal Gilmore, aka The Biz. Warriors Talk is changing lives one warrior at a time. Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number one, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on intellectualradio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.